institution. The objectives of the university, as articulated above, are supportive of its mission and broad vision of a modern institution that will develop world-class technologists as well as human resources that can sustainably manage our nation's economy by providing technical and management expertise at the highest level. The university is therefore to further advance knowledge through research and nurture unique technological innovations, entrepreneurship, and wealth management in its core area of interest. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the enactment of this bill will help in transforming the technological and educational fortunes in Nigeria in producing the desired manpower and expertise that Nigeria is yearning for. In line with our Order 77 sub 3, the compendium of financial implications is hereby attached. I urge you all to support this bill for the second reading. I thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, the Senate Leader. Senator Dixon, you may wish to take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my dear colleagues, Henry Sirake Dixon, Bayelsa West. The President, I rise to support the motion that this bill be read a second time. I say so firstly because we cannot have too many universities. We can't complain of having too many. The area of education, the field of education, investment in education is, for some of us, the most important investment any one person or government can embark on. Every other form of development, roads, bridges, however spectacular, however expensive, at the end of the day, is brick and mortar. But investment in education, human capacity development, is the only investment that is transgenerational in terms of benefits, in terms of its positive effect on society, and in terms of upliftment of the human capacity from generation to generation. So I commend this. So I want to support that we read this bill a second time, even though at the committee hearing, I would have had issues with the addition of environmental sciences, but those are issues that can be taken care of at the technical level, after the public hearing and so on. But in principle, Mr. President, I support that this bill be read a second time, more so when it had been earlier passed by the Ninth Assembly. I so second.
Senator Lolashu.
Mr. President, I wish to support in totality that without wasting time, we should proceed to read this bill second time. Bearing in mind that in the Ninth Assembly, it was presented, well debated, and passed. Furthermore, I'm quite enthused by the inclusion of environmental sciences in this bill. There's no gainsaying. The issue of environment had become a very, very important thing in Nigeria today. And having a lot of minds studying environmental science and technology will definitely assist Nigeria. I move that we should quickly read, without wasting time, this bill the second time.
The former Senate President, Senator Amelon.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan. I represent Yobe North. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this bill was passed, like the sponsor said, in the last Senate. And I stand here to support the bill for two reasons. First, it's a worthwhile bill. Technology and environmental sciences are very important, in fact, very crucial for any country, especially these days in the 21st century. And I'll come back to expatiate on that. Secondly, Mr. Senate President, I am a Kerewolu of the kingdom. So this is going to my Akerewolu. So this is an institution that will be established in our kingdom. But much more seriously, Mr. President, if we want to develop like most countries are today in this 21st century, we have to move away from being extremely traditional in our educational pursuits. We can't afford to continue with these basic things, in most cases outdated courses are taught in our schools or universities. This is 21st century, and the human being, the human resource, should be the source of developing our countries. We have had petroleum from maybe late 50s to date. We are grappling with so much poverty, unemployment, and so on and so forth. Some countries have nothing but they are human people, they are human beings, and they have made tremendous progress. A good example here is Singapore. Why? And in fact, most countries are going for knowledge-based economy. And I believe that the time is ripe that when we establish new institutions, they should be such institutions that will provide education and enlightenment for 21st century development agendas. And in fact, the NUC and other government institutions responsible for development of curriculum should wake up. What we were taught 40 years ago are still taught in some schools and even in the tertiary institutions, and they are not history. The world has moved on, and we have to catch up with the world by developing our human resources to develop our economies and stabilize our nation. Thank you very much for the privilege, Mr. President.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the former president. You have exhibited patriotism and love for your subjects, and I urge other traditional rulers all over the country to toe this kind of line. Senator Vito Ume, then after you.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to support this bill, principally because this university is focusing on technology and environmental sciences. Mr. President, time has come in this country when we shall be establishing specialized institutions to pursue certain areas and fields of knowledge. A situation where we have universities that offer all manners of courses, medicine, law, engineering, and so on and so forth. Make those universities center where you can do all manner of things. By focusing on technological knowledge, advancement of technological knowledge in this very university, and environmental sciences, we are confining this university to these two important areas. So that when we produce graduates from this university in these two faculties, you will be thinking of world-class graduates with excellent knowledge of those things. I'm not surprised that Senator Ashiru supported it because he's an architect. And when you talk about environmental sciences, we talk about architecture. I'm an estate surveyor and valuer, a graduate of Faculty of Environmental Sciences. We know that these are fields where we acquire knowledge that go to the root of managing the environment, because there you have urban and regional planning, all manners of courses centered on the environment. So they have such universities in Ghana, like Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. If you go there, students that graduate from there, they are world-class graduates. My daughter went there. And I can tell you, any exam she wrote, both for Canada, UK, and America from Nigeria, she passed all of them. So we have to really set up universities with specialized areas of endeavor, not all courses, law, so that from abroad.
I have 1 second.
This university, they will ask you, did you go to Federal University of Technology and Environmental Sciences in Ekiti? You say yes, it will be recognized globally because the training of the students and the graduates from there will be world class. So this is why I support this, and I believe that if we have more universities like this in Nigeria, we will be focusing our education towards becoming world and global beaters in those areas of education. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I so support that this bill.
Senator Fadahonsi, you have 1.5 minutes. Then, the leader, and then Dingy, Senator Dingy, and then we'll move to the other side of the aisle. So you have 1.5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I commend the sponsor of this bill. That's the Federal University of Technology and Environmental Sciences, Mininyi Ekiti. Very close to my state and my local government. The man is a visionary because it's almost the first technology and environmental science university almost in the southwest. All others are just conventional, where we study history, geography, and so on, apart from those polytechnic. So it's almost number one. Number two, they have already told us the advantages of this technology here and there. I'm not going to delve in that. Number two, it provides technological manpower for our people who have been reading history, geography, and they are not relevant to what is going on now. So we thank him for that. Job opportunities for our people, particularly.
You have 1 second remaining.
Then, Federal University provides a cheaper, particularly now that most of the universities around are private. The poor people around could not even sponsor their children to those universities. Now that Federal Universities, another one is coming up, our people will be able to sponsor their children into that place. We thank you very much, and God bless you.
Deputy Minority Whip, then after you, Senator Abdul Ningi, then we move to the other side of the aisle. Sorry, you are a principal officer, but you have 1.5 minutes.
Thank the mover of this. Brought to many areas, we have this BTC or GTC, they are no more functioning. And if at all we bring back those foundational educational institutions, colleges, Boys Technical College, this kind of university will be a kind of an advancement where they will now go and specialize in certain areas that will help our entire economy. If you go to some areas, even in Lagos, even here, people from Cotonou, Ghana, that will come fix the tiles, do the electrical works, or we want quality services, we go to neighboring countries because they have the Boys Technical College and they now have colleges of University of Technology and Environmental Sciences. I think as this budget is about coming, we have to look into the educational aspect and see how much and to what extent we can help to bring back, rejig the educational curriculum and now bring back our boys' technical colleges, girls' technical colleges at the college level, now establish fully universities like this University of Technology and Environmental Sciences so that it can give a perfect match to our system and drive our economy to a perfect level. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Abdul Ningi, 1.5 minutes.
1.5 minutes. Thank you, Mr. President. Let me add my vote. As long as it is university and education is the natural thing to do. And what is important is that the next big challenge to our common humanity is, of course, the environment. The climate change, we have seen what the environment, if not scientifically controlled, could do. We have seen devastation in Libya. We have seen it in Morocco. We have seen it in Kenya, in Turkey. We have seen it just 2 days ago in Afghanistan. So when you have a university that will really concentrate on the issue of environment, I think it is something that we must all encourage. Finally, sir, I do not want a university that is technology and environmental sciences based to be now diluted with other disciplines. That the university that was set up for this purpose will now, this particular discipline will now take a second importance. So it has to be this, because other universities have covered most of these areas. But once the university is controlled, is actually situated for this purpose, let the Senate emphasize and insist that the university must be for technology and environmental science, and from time to time, relevant committees must be able to oversight them. It is not just enough for us to pass a law. We must make it imperative that once a law is passed and the university is established, it is incumbent upon all of us, particularly relevant committees, making sure that this university actually is on technology and environmental sciences. That is my point.
Thank you very much. Senator Plang, then after you, Senator Oshomole, and then the last will be Senator Gbenga Daniel, then we go to prayers.
Thank you, Mr. Pal, Central District. I thank you for the opportunity granted to me to just add a few comments of appreciation and support for this bill. I would like to seriously join to what Senator Ningi has said. That attachment of environmental science is an issue that all of us should support. The other senator was talking about environmental science in terms of estate management, quantity survey, and so on and so forth. But I see the study of natural science, the application of natural sciences to protect the environment is what is there. And all of us are aware here that the issue of flood, issue of climate change, it has become global. It will be quite reasonable for Nigeria, with our size, our climate, our regional location, the climatology of our country. It will be very important for us to have an institution that specializes in training Nigerians on the environment. Because the environment is threatening. I totally support this. I say that in establishing one of the first universities of.
Thank you for the way you manage and give us the latitude to speak. I take my bearing from the comments made by the immediate past Senate President. But the only thing I want to add, must benefit from previous practices. We all know, a couple of years ago, Nigeria established several universities of technology. And the kind of argument I'm hearing now were the very argument that were adduced, because the world is moving from an economy that is broad-driven to the one that is knowledge-driven. And so, establishing regular universities for people to be doing mass comm, sociology, and all of that, the whole idea was that we must begin to focus on technology. So I am 100% at home with this, and I think let it be to the credit of this Senate that in crafting the law, the university will be forbidden from introducing courses like accountancy, mass communication, public admin, all of those things that we have in surplus, but they do not have the skill that modern economy requires. So in the light of the fact that various vice chancellors and university authorities have veered away from the initial focus of those universities of technology, this one, the law should be so crafted that whoever has the privilege of managing the university will not resort to practices that will lead to goal displacement, and ensure that the university remain focused and the assumption that it formed the mover of this particular law, and which formed the support that it has generated across all the divide. I so support, sir.
By sticking to the time, thank you. Senator Bengal Daniel, 1.5 minutes.
Thank you, sir, Senate President. I also congratulate our Senate leader for bringing up this bill. By the way, I think we also need to appreciate that the industry in the Ekiti State is education. And I think it's standard that you have professors and professors from Ekiti State. So I therefore want to plead that we should allow this bill to pass so that we can continue to develop Ekiti State as a basket of education in our country. But having said that, I think what is most important is that in moving forward, it is indeed important that we begin to look at technical institutions and vocational institutions in our educational development. The world as it is today, and some of us who are in the building industry will readily tell you, ordinarily it's supposed to be a pyramid with the engineer at the top, the technologists at the middle, the artisans at the bottom. But it does appear that this pyramid has been institutions where we can train artisans. It's unfortunate that today, if you are in the industry building, you go to neighboring countries like Togo to get bricklayers, masons, carpenters, and so on and so forth, because we are not really doing anything deliberately about it. I therefore want to suggest to all of us, as we move ahead, to create more institutions, that we must put more emphasis on technical and vocational institutions in our country. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. There's an adage in Hausa language that you cannot fry something to produce a very good delicacy without adding an onion. So we cannot discuss this bill without allowing the chairman, Committee on Environment, who is also an expert in environment science, without saying anything. You may wish to ventilate your views, Senator Yunus.
Thank you for giving me the privilege of lending my voice to the debate. My name is Yunus Akitunde. I represent Oyo Central, an environmentalist, and I wish to congratulate the Senate leader for bringing up the bill and make some corrections. During the discussion, I noticed that most people are trying to align the university with the environment. It's environmental sciences. It's more elaborate than only the environment. We are talking of technology aspect. It's talking of how natural world works. The university will be dealing with how human beings interact with the environment. It has to do with town planning, urban regional planning, urban development, even surveying. Mr. President, sir, I'm aware that the University of Ibadan is solving something similar, but at the master's level, not at the first degree level. And I'm aware that it sounds like a Pan-African program where you have students from other African countries attending. So establishing this university will give Nigerians and other African nations the privilege of having first degree courses on technological and environmental sciences. And I wish that the Senate gives it urgent passage, and I wish the federal government could approve it in earnest. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let me commend, or first of all, thank those who contributed to this debate. I also commend the leader for bringing forward this bill, because as we speak, the world is facing environmental problem, climate change, flooding, so on and so forth. So there's a need to have a university of this nature to tackle these problems. Besides that, human development, human capital is number one now as we speak in the whole world. So having more university is always good. The more the merrier. So thank you very much, and let me put the question. Those in favor that the bill now be read the second time, please say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, provide for the establishment of the Federal University of Technology and Environmental Sciences in Ekiti State, and for other matters connected therewith, 2023.
A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal University of Technology and Environmental Sciences in
Akure Wolu of Inni Kingdom. And in celebration of this title, let me also say that His Excellency is currently building a state-of-the-art intensive care unit in Ekiti. Thank you so much. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Etim Basi Anekan on the urgent need for inquiry into implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA 2021, case of ExxonMobil in Akwa Ibom State. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Etim Basi Anekan to move the motion.
Senator Etim Basi Anekan, you may move to stand to move your motion. And after the motion, we are going to allow two senators from each side of the aisle to contribute, and those who have not contributed in previous motions or bills, because we have two items remaining. I want to deal with them before the expiration of the time. You may wish to move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My motion is an urgent need for inquiry into the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Bill Act, PIA 2021, with regards to potential exit of international oil companies, IOCs from Nigeria, case of ExxonMobil in Akwa Ibom State. The Senate acknowledges the discovery of oil and gas in commercial quantity in Nigeria, so to the arrival of international oil companies, IOCs, such as Shell, BP, Mobil Unlimited, later merged into ExxonMobil, Nigeria Jeep Oil Company, to name but some, in Nigeria for the purpose of further exploration, development, and production in the sector. Note that the IOCs went into joint venture contract with the federal government through the NNPC, now NNPC Limited. Particularly, in the case in point, the NNPC holds 60%, while ExxonMobil. Both the responsibilities for injection of capital expenditure into the joint venture and the proceeds of same are shared in corresponding proportions. Aware that ExxonMobil offered to sell its entire onshore and shallow water facilities business in Akwa Ibom State, which established fields and high-quality operations with a highly skilled local operational team. Track record of safe operations, high production rates, as well as crucial, extensive footprint in Akwa Ibom State, preparatory to its exit from its onshore and shallow water operations in the state and to focus on deep water productions. Curious that the NNPC has the right of first refusal and has notified ExxonMobil of its intention to exercise the right of pre-exemption on ExxonMobil's planned sale of its entire asset in Nigeria's onshore and shallow waters. But ExxonMobil proceeded to seal a deal with Seplat Energy PLC for that purpose. Observe that the Petroleum Industry Act 2021 was enacted to provide legal governance, regulatory, and fiscal framework for the Nigerian petroleum industry, as well as address the multifarious challenges sector, which is still the mainstay of the country's, such as the now emerging trend of exit of IOCs, and has not holistically resolved issue bordering on protection of interests of the federal government, producing states, host communities, or provided future assurances in the handling of situations from Warren Delta State, limited other profound negative implications for the local communities and across the footprint the one center of activities into ghost towns and cities. Fearing and concerned about the potential adverse effects of the exit of ExxonMobil from Akwa Ibom State, including the high loss of jobs, exit of professionals and services company from Akwa Ibom, loss of revenue, as well as abandonment of certain yet to be satisfied obligations. Worried that the new company take over its assets and liability of ExxonMobil capacity to successfully step into the ExxonMobil footprints and or muscle the producing states and host communities. For instance, where cleanup is required or where capital-intensive corporate responsibilities were commenced. Concerned that they need to get a process regarding the exit of ExxonMobil in Akwa Ibom State cannot be left in the hands of the enemy, analyzing what ExxonMobil was doing in the oil-producing states and host communities with a bid to obtaining their clear undertaking that whoever takes over ExxonMobil would, in the interests of the state and our people, take over all reasonable volume of those responsibilities previously undertaken by ExxonMobil. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, concern also that PIA implementation has not yet produced any workable coordination or clearinghouse by which NNPC, NNPCL, regulators, and all producing companies work and coordinate vital petroleum sector changes with significant consequences, with the to be impacted host communities, cities, and states. The Senate currently resolves, 1, to mandate the Committee on Petroleum, Upstream, Downstream, and Gas to conduct a holistic investigation on the implementation of Petroleum Industry Act with regards to potential exit of IOCs from Nigeria. Please, Mr. President, I beg to amend this prayer by including host communities as one of the community.
Sorry? Senator Mamba Alendeme, you may wish to second, and you have 2 minutes to make your contribution.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Even though you don't tell principal officer that, you allow him given the latitude based on our tradition. So to continue.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mine is just to commend and support or second the motion, and also to state that the prayers of this motion is very straightforward. For the fact that we have other motions, I think it should be without so much ado, because the prayer is simple, it's saying that the Committee on Petroleum, Downstream, and Gas to conduct holistic investigation on the implementation of Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, with regards to potential exits of IOCs. And that is true, and it's also timely that what we did, the law that we passed, is being implemented. Is it working well, or it has some issues? I think this is a very straightforward motion, and it should be supported.
I agree with you. We don't need to waste much time on this. But, Senator, you can speak last, to solidarize with your friend and brother from the same state. So, once we finish, then we go to the prayers.
Thank you, Mr. President. There is indeed great merit in this motion. My name is Ekong Samson. I speak for Akwa Ibom South. I think the framing and contents of this motion are very clear. We need to measure the implementation of the PIA. I represent a central nucleus of communities that are affected by the PIA in Akwa Ibom South. And the exit or the planned exit of ExxonMobil has raised a number of concerns about the process, the procedure. There's a lot of anxiety in our part. To this extent, this motion is very timely. We need to monitor, we need to measure the implementation of the PIA. And we need also to hold discussions. We need to measure the impact on the host communities. Akwa Ibom South extensively is yet to feel the impact of the PIA. We need to know what is going on. And ExxonMobil plays a key role in the economy, not just of my state, but in this country. We need to hold them accountable. There have been concerns raised in my territorial district. This motion is timely, and I hope you that...
I have 1 second remaining.
The content and the implementation. There is merit in this motion. I support it. Coming from my brother, my co-traveler, we are in the same spirit. This is very timely. This is very commendable. And I trust that Nigeria will be happier for this type of motion.
Thank you very much. We now go to the prayers, or to the prayer. Mandate is committee, that is the Senate should mandate its committee on petroleum upstream, downstream, and gas to conduct a holistic investigation on the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, with regards to potential exits of IOCs from Nigeria. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you for bringing up this motion. You've done well, because anything to do with the petroleum sector should be very, very important to us, particularly something that has to do with the IOCs. We do hope that the joint committees will do what is expected of them in line with the prayer of this motion. We thank you again, the mover of the motion, former Speaker of Akwa Ibom. Thank you. The leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the fifth order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Olubi Fadeyi Oluwole on the call for urgent federal government relief package to support citizens affected in the communal clashes between Ifon and Ilobu communities in Osun Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Olubi Fadeyi Oluwole to move the motion.
Senator Olubi Fadeyi, you may wish to move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I remain Olubi Fadeyi, Senator representing the good people of Osun Central. Mr. President, call for urgent federal government relief package to support citizens affected in the communal clash between Ifon, Ilobu communities with population of 200,000 in my senatorial district. The Senate notes, with the world was glued to their television set over the ongoing crisis in the Middle East, particularly the Gaza war, thousands of my good people in Osun Central district were killed, displaced, and their properties were destroyed following the communal clash between Ifon and Ilobu communities in Olu Irekbodun local government area of Osun State. Note, Ifon and Ilobu are two neighboring towns in Osun State, located in southwest Nigeria. The distance between the two communities is approximately 22 kilometers. Unfortunately, these two towns have an ongoing dispute since 1997 till date and have experienced extramarital violence for a long time. The root causes of Ilobu-Ifon crisis has always been linked to land disputes, political rivalry, and ethnic tensions. Note that many lives were lost in both communities. Houses, schools, mosques, hospitals, markets, shopping malls, and gas stations were burned. In particular, a male, Kudos Ibrahim, named, lost his life in the crisis. The clash left 14 policemen, including the divisional police officer of Irekpodun Division, injured while trying to mediate in the crisis. Concerned about the deplorable condition of the 20,000 displaced persons, which were now homeless and need urgent support of the federal government. Commend the state governor for his proactive stance on the matter to finding last solution to the crisis by signing a peace agreement between two communities. Prayer, Mr. President. A, direct NEMA to set up ID camps in affected areas and make provision of practical relief material for displaced persons. 2, mandate the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Property Elevation to provide support for communities affected by the communal clash. C, mandate Committee of Special Duties of the Senate to ensure compliance and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Mr. President, I so move. Thank you so much.
Seconder, the minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues. I stand to second the motion ably moved by the senator representing Osun Central Senatorial District on the need for quick intervention on the Ifan Orulu communal areas. I so second, Mr. President. But I also want to crave the indulgence of Mr. President to add 1 or 2 things to the motion. Sincerely speaking, what happened there, those of us from Osun State, are very worried. We only thank God that the good leaders in Osun State, the traditional rulers, the governors, were able to come in. If not, what happened within that week should not continue more than that. It will be worrisome. And the extent of the damage that have been done within that short space of time was so unquantifiable. The loss of lives, loss of properties, destruction of so many things, including police stations, has been initiated in the bill. So it is very urgent that we need to complement the effort the state government is making, because the damage was too much for them to control. And that's why the bill is very urgent. I want to urge our members here to lend their forces to it, so that the good people of these two local governments combined together can know that we feel for them, and we pray that such thing will never happen again. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Father Hunsi.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Adenigba Father Hunsi from Osun East, neighboring district to Central, where this ugly incident happened, just because of land, political rivalry, and so on, including religion. It has been a long battle, but the whole thing now busted out to be war between them, where the divisional police officer was shot. We thought he was even dead. Many policemen were wounded, and many of them are still in the hospital till tomorrow. But the problem are the properties destroyed, including farmland, during this harvest season. I don't think we can quantify what happened. So more than 20,000 people were displaced, and up to now, they were homeless. When the problem started, they didn't think that this thing will come to this magnitude because of the level of education. Now that it has happened, the state government has come in, the governor has done his best, to the extent that he even used the certificate of occupancy power to collect the land they were fighting for. But meanwhile, the deed has been done. So my own appeal now is for the federal government to intervene, to please come in and settle those people in IDB camps, so that all this farmland and everything that has been destroyed, some food items can be given to them with what the state government is doing. I support the move, and I hope the ugly incident will not happen. The woman that died, with God Almighty, she will have good rest, because she died among the two morning functions. So I support it, and I urge my colleague to try and possible to help us support, so that humanitarian materials can be moved there urgently. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I think we need to go to the prayers because of time constraint that we have. We just have barely 10 minutes remaining. We go to, well, let me give Senator William 1 minute if you want to speak, just 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Ethan Williams. I represent Cross River Central. I'll thank my brother for raising this issue. And I also add, most of our communities are being affected. We are only saying this because of children and women that are also affected by this fight. It happened in Cross River State just a few days ago. The two towns in Obubra local government of Vonum and Ofotura, they were all involved. For me, if not for the children and women that are innocent, we wouldn't have gone into it. But we will call on NEMA, SEMA, and the state government and the federal government to intervene because of the people involved that are innocent. Houses are destroyed for what? Nothing. If you go into it, and also to call on security agencies
They should be proactive. There's no way a war will come up without them having a clue if they are effective. I will also call in one of the prayers, if I will add, that security agencies should have synergy so that such occurrence, we will nick it at the bug before it's happened. Not for it to happen, then we will now come and be shouting if they are active and serious with their job. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We go to the prayers. Prayer 1, direct NEMA to set up IDP camps in the affected areas and make provisions for practical relief, materials for the displaced persons. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Mandate the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation to provide support to the communities affected by the communal clash. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Mandate the Committee on Special Duties to ensure compliance and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Those in favor of the prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. Additional prayer. Senator Lonashuru.
Mr. President, I'm talking based on experience within my community and the fact that the community we are talking about, we share the same cultural affinity, and I know the place very well. I know the history of their communal crisis, and I'm sure it dates back to 1997, as it's quoted here. And based on similarities that were done long time ago, I would want to suggest that we should call on Nigerian Army to establish a mini barrack within the two communities.
Seconder, please. Seconder? No seconder. Additional prayer? Eh? Yeah? Any other prayer? Agadaga? No more military, eh?
Mr. President,
Eh?
Benson Agadaga is my name. Senator representing Bayelsa East Senatorial District. The additional prayer I want to have here is that there is a body that's entrusted with the responsibility of maintaining law and order in the country. So I wish that it should be directed to restore peace in that area. Thank you, Mr. President.
Seconder. Okay. Senator Dixon, Mr. Second. With all due respect, Senator Dixon, what are you seconding?
I'm seconding the additional prayer by my distinguished colleague, the senator representing Bayelsa East.
What is the content of this, the additional prayer?
That the law enforcement agencies responsible for maintenance of law and order be specifically directed to bring normalcy to the affected areas. I so second.
Thank you for reshaping the prayer. Those, those in favor of the prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Any additional prayer? Senator Williams.
Mr. President, my name remains Senator Ethan Williams, Cross River Central, I represent. Additional prayers to avoid another motion for us to include the communities in Obubra, of Vonum, and of Otura. Yes.
I think it's better you bring a brand new motion. It can fit in. They are in different locations. So I think we are done. So thank you very much for your contribution to this debate, and also we commend the mover, we thank the mover, because this is a problem that started in 1977. 1997, right? 1997. I see no reason why we should allow this, the problem to linger for so long. So it is therefore very, very important that the authorities in Osun State should come together to make sure that a lasting solution is gotten to deal with this matter permanently. It is sad commentary on the way we run our things in this country to allow people from the same ethnic group, brothers and sisters, to continue to kill themselves, destroying their properties, is something that should not be condoned. They must stop. So with this, we thank you very much, and I call on the leader to move for adjournment.
Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues. Having concluded today's proceedings on the order paper, I hereby move that the Senate do adjourn till Tuesday, 31st October 2023 at 10 a.m. Mr. President, I so move.
Honourable Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I stand to second the motion ably moved by the Senate leader that we have to do adjourn and meet Tuesday next week. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion for adjournment say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate is accordingly adjourned till Tuesday, 1st day of October 2023 at 10 a.m. Well done.